Hello everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Banished from the Hero Party series. While this episode concludes the first season of our journey, it's only the beginning of the adventure that awaits. In the previous episode, Rudy was able to reunite with her brother, and Chasandin, who was presumed dead, was revealed to be alive and searching for Gideon. In addition to these shocking developments, Rudy also discovered a way to suppress her blessing, and has traveled to Zoltan to explore this further. As the storylines intertwine and the plot thickens, we're eager to see how everything will come together in this episode. So, without further ado, let's delve into the conclusion of Season 1. Rudy's sudden embrace of Red surprised both Taizi and Gons. Taizi wondered if it was safe to leave Gons, since he had overheard their secret. But Red assured them there was no need to worry. After Taizi introducing herself, Red and Rudy catch up, and they discovered Ares' treachery. Rudy also reveals how their party almost disbanded after Red left. Danon had set out to find him, and Yarendrala left the party after believing that Ares killed Red. Rudy wanted him to rejoin their group. Red refused, as he had found a new purpose in Zoltan, and Rudy decided to stay with him, relinquishing her role as the hero. On their way back, Rudy suddenly fell ill due to her blessing, which forced her to act as the hero again. They returned to the inn, where Rudy decided to search for a set of elven ruins, rumored to be in the area, which could serve as a secret laboratory for making the demon's blessing drug to weaken her hero blessing. On the other hand, we find out that Bui was responsible for the recent magic drainage in the area, using an enchanted crystal heart, and was also searching for the same elven ruins. Next day, Rudy and Taizi were working in the shop, but Rudy's personality was scaring off customers. Red and Taizi advised her to smile when greeting someone, and Red decided to give her a small tour of the town. To help her adjust, they visit the sauna and Red tell Rudy to try it. They drink milk afterward, and Rudy gets surrounded by peoples due to her different personality. Later, Rudy apologized to Red for her personality, but he reassured her that he was proud of her and happy to introduce her to others. This made Rudy happy, and they went home together. Later, Rudy, Rit, and Tis decided to take a bath together. While they were bathing, Rudy opened up to them about how much of an emotional support her brother was for her, especially since her blessing as a hero had made her numb to feeling any joy. She confessed to envying Rit's freedom to laugh and cry anytime, whereas her blessing prevented her from feeling those emotions at all. However, she found solace in remembering her time with Red, and it made her happy. Tis quietly resolved to save Rudy from her forced destiny as the hero. She knew it would be a difficult task, but she was determined to help her friend break free from the constraints of her blessing and live a life full of emotions and freedom. Meanwhile, Ares and Theodora use Albert to track Rudy down. During a break, Theodora explains to Albert that people are not shackled by their blessings from determining their own death. In the next scene, Taizi reveals everything to Red, and Red realizes how much burden Rudy is carrying. Taizi also tells them about the Devil's Blessing drug, and Red concludes that while Rudy's immunities protect her from the Devil's Blessing for now, she will eventually succumb to it if she continues to take it to negate her hero blessing. They decide to talk with Godwin about this, and Red leaves to search for materials needed to make the drug, while Taizi and Rit go to the elven ruins. On the port, Ares, Theodore, and Albert also arrive in town and start searching for Rudy's traces. Bui also notices Ares, while Red encounters Danon, who is ecstatic to see him, and they catch up together, while Theodora and Albert observe them invisibly. However, this Danon is missing a hand, and Red reveals how Rudy is suffering because of her blessing. Danon decides to help Rudy as well, and he also wants Red to rejoin the party, but Red refuses. When they leave, Theodore is also confused about what to do. In a hotel, Danon knocks at Ares' door, but this Danon has both of his hands. He tells Ares about Red, and how he is living happily with Red in the town, making Ares very angry. The impostor Danon guides Ares to Red's shop, which Ares demolishes in his obsessive jealousy of Red. On their way, Danon tells Red how he fought with Chasandin when he entered the town and lost one of his hands. Red is shocked since Rudy clearly killed Chasandin in the battle. They suddenly spot Ares flying towards the ruins, and Red speeds up while Danon follows him. Red tells the truth about Chasandin to Rid and Taizi, making Red angry because he was the one who killed her precious teacher. Both Red and Red decide to hold their swords again to beat Chrysanthemum. Red then arrives at the ruins with his fast speed. The ruins are actually an abandoned base of a more advanced, long-gone civilization. He finds traces of wooden elves there and some words written as Hero Administrator Center. He then finds Godwin and uses him to call Rudy. He apologizes to Rudy for ignoring her all this time and tells her to do whatever she wants. He also supports her decision to quit her role as a hero and live the life she wants, making Rudy extremely happy. Outside, Ares and Chrysanthemum also reach the forest, and Chrysanthemum uses Ares to find the ruins. On the way, Theodore also arrives and gives Danon a ride. Rid and Tizi also arrive at the ruins, and as they discuss the effects of Devil's Blessing, Rudy notes that an unprecedented blessing without name seems to have emerged in her. Right afterwards, Ares arrives and asks Rudy to come with him to save the world, but Rudy defies as she doesn't want to be a hero anymore. Thinking that Red is the reason, Ares attacks him, resulting in Rudy seriously wounding him. She gives him a warning and abandons him. Ares is then met by Bui, an Asura demon, and the fake Danon. Bui reveals that the ruined shelter an artifact left behind by the first hero, which Ares could use to win Rudy back to him. In the next scene, Ares explains how the first time he laid his eyes on Rudy, he found the purpose of his life: to fight alongside the hero and save the world, since the only blessing superior to his sage blessing was the hero's blessing. Bui leads him to the room where the artifact is. Red tells Tizi and Rudy about Ares' arrival, and Tizi detects that Ares is on the lowest level with someone who is concealing their presence. They then decide to confront him. Theodore and others also arrive and decide to do things their own way. Since Danon is all brawn, no brain, he smashes directly through the walls and reaches the room where Ares and Chrysanthemum are. He quickly attacks Chrysanthemum with a sword and overpowers him with martial arts. Even though his right hand was cut off, Ares attacks him, making him stunned, and Chrysanthemum pierces him with the blade. Danon still stands in his form, making Chrysanthemum impressed. He reveals his true form and attacks him. Danon parries all of his attacks but gets defeated. They reach the chamber containing the artifact they're looking for: 5 sword blades, siblings of the sacred sword wielded by Rudy and, like Rudy, remnants from the time of the first hero. Chrysanthemum also reveals that to make Rudy a hero again, he has to get her in contact with the sword and kill his brother Gideon. When Red's group reaches them, Chrysanthemum reveals himself disguised as Rudy's teacher, making her angry, and she attacks him. Ares also attacks Gideon, but Rudy uses her shield to save him. They then use their magic to fight, while Tizi protects Godwin. Outside, Albert gives a potion to Danon and saves him. Rudy then uses her martial art to break the replica of the sacred sword, impressing Chrysanthemum. Suddenly the ground starts shaking, and Theodore appears. She binds Rit using the holy chains, and attacks Rudy to steer her back onto the hero's path. Rudy asks her why she should sacrifice her life to save the world, when there are many people who want the title of the hero. Rit also protests against this, pointing out that the one carrying the hero's blessing is not the world's sole savior, and the bearer of the hero's blessing is also a person. She thinks that the one who saved her kingdom was not the hero's blessing, but it was the combined efforts of the whole party. Chrysanthemum also points out that the hero simply doesn't exist. It's the will of the people that gives birth to heroes. But the mighty god can't understand this simple thing that most of us understand clearly. The dragon then attacks Rudy, and Red goes to save her. Ares uses a spell and makes them fall. Rudy quickly defeats Theodore and rushes to save them. Ares starts laughing, thinking he killed Red. He also defeats Tizi using his magic, knocks Godwin out, and stomps on the pet spider. On the other hand, we see Danon, who is now recovered, using his martial art to save Red and Rudy. Red then fights Ares and kills him. On the other hand, Chrysanthemum fights with Rudy, and she succeeds in killing him. But Chrysanthemum tricks Rudy into touching one of the sacred blades, subjecting her to her blessing's compulsions. Under this urge, she attacks Red, but her blow is intercepted by Tis. Tizi tells Rudy not to attack the person behind her, since he is the most precious person in Rudy's life. And then Red leaves Tizi and Rid in Godwin's care and distracts Rudy. They begin fighting, and Rudy completely destroys his sword. Having no choice, Red decides to use his dull sword. He then manages to disarm Rudy using the dull sword, freeing her from the sacred blade's influence. She starts crying after realizing what she has done. Danon and Albert also arrive. Rit tries to heal Tizi, but her powers are not enough. When Rudy goes to use her power, she finds that her blessing has been nullified. She starts crying since she doesn't want to lose her only friend. Theodore uses her healing powers to heal Taizi, and, as an act of repentance for her stubborn adherence to her belief in the hero's blessing, asks them to kill herself. Albert disagrees since he thinks what Theodore did was for the sake of the world. Taizi also wakes up, and Rudy apologizes to her. All assembled come to the realization that being the hero is not dictated by one's blessing, but their own choices. Theodore wonders if she can become an amazing guide like Gideon, and Gideon's answer is, if that's what she wants, she can. In the aftermath, Rudy and Taizi relocate to Zoltan, where Rudy has been bestowed with a new blessing that suppresses her previous hero's blessing. She also feels cold for the first time and wants to experience more things. Rudy and Taizi decide to buy a farm and grow herbs in Zoltan. In the evening, they attend Ares' funeral, and Red wishes Ares to be free of his sage's blessing in his next life. Outside, Danon is going to stay in Zoltan for a few days, and then will leave on his own journey. He also wonders how Shasandan was able to wield the holy sword, since it was made to kill demons. Red concludes that the very first hero must have been an Asura demon, just like Shasandan, since there were 6 holy swords, and an Asura demon has 6 arms as well. But there was one sword missing, and Red concludes that one of the previous heroes must have taken that sword. They choose to leave these worries and live their own life free from their blessings. At night, Red explains how exceptional Red is as a guide, and she is scared that one day he will leave her to guide someone else. Red explains how much he needs Red in his life, and fully accepts Red as his wife. The next day, Rudy and Red go to explore the city more and find Godwin, who gets scared and runs away after seeing them. We also see different scenes where everyone is living peacefully, and except for the occasional emergency, which Rudy chooses to resolve, their life in Zoltan returns to normal. And somewhere in the wilderness, Yarandrala encounters Godwin, who tells her about Red and Rudy's whereabouts, prompting her to rejoin them in Zoltan. This concludes the first season of Banished from the Hero Party series. As for the next season, the second season of Banished from the Heroes Party has been announced. An official release date has not been revealed yet, but we will surely see some announcement on it soon. There are many questions in mind, like how Shasandan was able to wield Holy Sword. What is the real situation behind the hero blessing? The new blessing that Rudy acquired is also unknown. I think that's the hidden potential of humans that Shasandan talked about in the previous episode. We will see all of this in the season, so make sure to subscribe my channel, like and share this video. I will see you in a new series. Till then.